Good morning, Egberto Willies.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good. Welcome to the broadcast. I was wondering, I was like, is he going to remember today?
I have it on my schedule now, so it's on my schedule now, Miss Sheely.
Thank you. Welcome to the broadcast. You know, I've been on fire all week, Egberto, about this damn wall.
Yes.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
You should be.
I'm really pissed off. Like Robbie said, we're on our soapbox today. We both we calling this stuff out.
Well, you know what? I think we just have to kind of let it play out now because it's almost over, I think.
Why do you think? Let's start right there because I want to hear why you think.
I think it's almost over because we're coming to a breaking point. Today, we know that the air traffic controllers are starting to complain about what's going on. I think Trump is going to realize that a lot of his supporters are actually on food stamps. And when he realizes that they're going to realize that their savior is saving them no more. So, so I think he's trying to find a way out. But the problem that is whether we give him a little bait to let him get out or not. I am for not giving him a bait. I want him to go down hard. But for the sake of people, maybe we'll give him a bait.
Thank you, Egberto. It's like when I hear like him talk about Trump, it's bigger than Trump. Like you just said, those air traffic controllers. I saw the AFA, the Association of Flight Attendants, saying, let's go on a damn strike. I like that. Like, let's go on a damn strike.
See, but that would never happen in Atlanta because one of our biggest employers, their flight attendants are non-unionized, and that's a workforce of over 23,000 people, and really all of our below wing employees at our airport are all subcontracted, and they make pitiful. The wheelchair people maybe work on tips and $2 an hour, and nobody knows this. And guess who's a huge corporate sponsor and why Atlanta officials don't talk about it?
Delta.
Oh my God.
Down low, DL.
Oh my God.
That's really another example of how when we talk about the 90%, and it also includes large numbers of college professors.
Wow. You just hit an interesting thing, David, because I was just talking about that with the professors at universities. I think they're called adjunct professors. Yeah.
Adjunct professors or part-time non-tenure track professors. More than 2/3 of the professoriate today and it's grown to this point over the last 20 years. Today, more than 2/3 of the people who teach at the college level are non-tenure track employees.
We have to show where all these people share some common interests.
Exactly.
If we can do that, then we can have them block votes.
Egberto, I know you don't have a few minutes with us today. I appreciate your time for always dropping in, giving us that 10-minute update. But let's go back to this. What's going on in national politics real quick, because I know you only have a few minutes.
Yeah.
We've done something that is very dangerous. We went ahead and said that we are going to recognize somebody in another country as president other than the one who the people voted for. We're talking about Venezuela. Venezuela sits on the largest reserves of oil in the world, bar none. They also sit on a large reserve on gold. Now, the government of Hugo Chavez, who now died, was taken over by Nicolas Maduro. Hugo Chavez was a good democratic socialist. Nicolas Maduro isn't. The people in what some call a shady election elected Nicolas Maduro. No different than the president of the United States in a shady election was elected. Suppose Germany were to come and say Hillary Clinton is president, not Donald Trump, because she won the popular vote and the election was instigated by Russia. That is what Donald Trump did in Venezuela. Immediately, he got Colombia, Panama, Brazil, and some other countries to accept it. Mexico has not, Russia has not, Turkey has not, Iran has not,
and China
has not. This sets up a very interesting scenario. China has a whole lot of assets in Central America and Latin America, and they have their interests to protect. And the United States want to make sure that none of those resources go from Venezuela, but is under the United States control. Americans don't have a clue right now that how serious this particular issue is. And it is something that, you ever heard the term "walk the dog," where a president in trouble creates a war. This is a perfect time with all that's happening with Donald Trump to use the Venezuelan people as pawns to take our eye off the ball, start another war, and put us into chaos one more time. It's not getting a lot of coverage in the United States, but I read newspapers like Telesur and many other ones, and I tell you something, my friends, this is very, very dangerous.
Wow.
And, I'm so glad you just broke that down, Egberto. There was a comment there, a great synopsis from a gentleman. Mm-hmm. Because the marketing component is fascinating. And that's what this is. It's presented in such a way that it's so confusing that people cannot tell what the actual goal is. I mean, right. They're misled. It's misrepresented.
Right now, we resort to reading the New York Times as the gold standard, Washington Post as the gold standard. They're not. We have to go to places like Telesur, which have an English version as well. But I like to stick to the Spanish version because you get the real story of what's going on in Latin America. One thing that Americans don't realize as well is, as far as major countries in this hemisphere, the only English-speaking ones are Canada and the United States. Everybody else is Spanish or Portuguese. There's a whole lot more other people until we realize that we have to blend in with what's going on in the rest of the hemisphere, notwithstanding the rest of the world. We have some issues that we're going to have to contend with. But I hope that Tamara and your program and others make note of this, because all these things have an effect on the American people. Your audience, Tamara, is going to be influenced by that, because if he wags the tail, some of your people are going to be going towards Venezuela to fight and die, just like in 1989, Bush, to capture Manuel Antonio Noriega, our dictator, he killed, they said 1,000 people, the UN said 4,000 people, Panamanians know it's 10,000 people that got killed with bombs to arrest one person. And we're going to go arrest Maduro and kill a whole lot of Venezuelans and Americans.
And in Panama City, they bombed the poor neighborhoods.
Yes,
that's where the
cartel
had nothing to do with Noriega.
Exactly.
Egberto, I want to ask you something. Here's a thought that I have. This government shutdown is. I wonder if you think that this might be a way for Trump to try to disrupt the FBI.
I think you're right, but I don't think he did it initially on that purpose. I think he realized that occurred, and that's why it stayed shut down for so long. It was like, oh, you mean this is also affecting the FBI? I mean, he's not a very knowledgeable person, so I don't, and worse, the people that he surrounds himself with themselves are not knowledgeable. For them to believe that replying to Nancy Pelosi with a letter that says we're coming anyway, and that somehow that was going to make a difference, it's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah,
it's Nancy Pelosi we're talking about here. So they're not very knowledgeable. So, but anyway, so I'm sorry that the national story today had an international component, but that is the stuff that I think a lot of us should be looking at right now.
Thank you, Egberto, and we look forward to having you back every Friday with a national or international political update. Follow Egberto on Politics Done Right. He is, our go-to guy. He will be your go-to guy. He's very knowledgeable. So thank you, Egberto, for joining us.
Thank you so kindly for having me, Tamara. Nice to see you, Robbie and David. You all kick it as you normally kick it. I love the show. You have a wonderful day now.
Thank you, Egberto.